Solomon intended to try it, was surprised by the taste. Besides, Billy took him elsewhere. This kid has some serious wilderness survival skills, always finding unexpected food to replenish his energy needs. Billy even caught a plump tree bug. He let Solomon sample this unique flavor, and the man looked incredulous. But seeing Billy munching away so confidently, he nervously popped it into his mouth. From reluctant acceptance to savoring, bugs taste good. Solomon thanked Billy. He kindly reminded her that, as this man is stubborn, he must adapt to survive, but changing one's nature is tough. Sure enough, one day everyone was quarrying stones on the hill, but Billy stood aside, lost in thought, ignoring the foreman. The man just wouldn't take orders, so Billy got tied to a post and received a good thrashing under the watchful eyes of the other prisoners. Even with such harsh punishment, Billy kept his mouth shut, refusing to yield to his abusers, contrasting Solomon's earlier warning. This totally contradicts the idea that the strong thrive. A year later, we find Mary teaching the female prisoners how an extremely unusual day has arrived. Mary has finally become a free woman. She completely shared the shackles of exile, and it was the businessman who truly became her savior, changing her fate forever. Mary's first stop was Wellington Mountain. She secretly saved up money over years, unknown to the businessman, for her upcoming factory. Then she buried the money by the stream, stripped down, and transformed like a phoenix in flames, letting the crystal-clear spring water wash away her past. With heartfelt laughter, she embraced a new world. Mary was finally free. Meanwhile, Anna, working in the cotton factory, finally got her chance at parole. But the officer warned her of any illegal activities, and she'd be back behind bars. She would be immediately rearrested. And another document demanded that Anna leave Rebirth to live in the new town of Norfolk, hopefully as a maid to make ends meet. Prior to her departure, the woman first paid a visit to the boarding school, as she intended to take her 3 children along. Fortunately, Mary had requested a few days off from work. This kept the 2 destined foes from meeting. Anna then left with her kids for a new town, but some women, once hardship strikes, become very resourceful. They swiftly spot opportunities. A well-dressed man hints. Anna gets it. She has 3 hungry kids. Things went smoothly from there. She used her charms to gain the gentleman's trust and successfully secured her survival conditions, all while setting aside any lingering resentment. George and even more. The scene changes. Mary takes the man to Wellington Mountain, openly sharing a plan to grow potatoes here. She'll also brew alcohol from potatoes, given the abundant resources, fertile soil, and sweet, clear spring water here. With all conditions favorable, success seemed imminent. Though Mary was free, her ex-convict label barred her from business, while this man could. The gentleman had considerable power here, and his ties with colonial officials were solid. So Mary hoped to leverage his name to start her factory, allowing her to initially opposed. Mary's kindness melted his heart, compelling aid to the poor woman. Thus he fully supported her. Mary's potato factory opened smoothly, brewery in full operation. All seemed headed for success until a familiar face appeared. Mary suddenly recognized someone walking in the bridge. Little did she dream that her long-lost love would suddenly reappear. At that moment, Mary's waiting and efforts paid off. Yet her dreamed-come life had unexpected gaps. One night, Solomon passed by the street when he found someone lying under the bridge, so he hurried down to check. Unfortunately, it seemed the woman had lost her life just as he arrived. The liquid on the wrapped cloth made Solomon realize immediately that the woman might have died during childbirth. Meanwhile, there was a slight movement in her abdomen. So the man came up with a bold idea. He pulled out his knife and rolled up his sleeves. When Solomon returned home the next day, 2 adorable twins popped up in front of Mary, and she was left speechless, her seasoned instincts misfiring completely. The deceased yesterday was Belle, a friend of Solomon's from London. She was exiled to Australia and witnessed this tragedy. So she brought the 2 poor kids back. Mary was understanding, and they had no children of their own, so when her husband suggested an orphanage, the woman immediately decided to adopt them, an absolutely great choice. But they both were puzzled about why one of them looked like a chocolate drop. Maybe the deceased had 2 boyfriends at the same time. Well, regardless, they decided to adopt the 2 kids, and so it went on. Fast forward 10 years. Under Mary's tender care, the two kids were as happy as can be until Anna's family moved to Obot. This broke the bottleneck entirely. Anna, Solomon's ex-wife, had to seek support from a wealthy man with her kids due to changes. Now the kids are grown up, and hoped the gentleman would entrust some businesses to his son, who is not his own, and David knew nothing about management. A few words laden with sarcasm from the lady made the boy utterly unable to withstand her humiliation, prompting him to angrily return to his own room. A few days thereafter, Mary and her husband reviewed bills as the brewery had long been unprofitable, nearing bankruptcy. Then today, 2 kids playing outside were long overdue, worrying Mary. She called out but got no reply. She then took people to search the mountain, but to no avail, no trace of the kids was found on Wellington Mountain. Unbelievable. Plunged Mary into endless sorrow. But then unnecessary troubles followed. Solomon encountered an unexpected visitor at night. It turned out to be his biological son, David. Without hesitation, the boy drew a gun on his father. Though Solomon neglected him lately, such treatment from his own son was unexpected. They went into a nearby shed, and David handed his father something that contained a blackened finger clearly. He had imprisoned the 2 kids. It turned out David didn't fare well with his stepfather, so he took a detour, seeking belonging from Solomon. He knew his father had a safe in London. It held all his and his mother's savings. He used this shameless trick to get the password from his dad, or get a severed finger daily. However, Solomon didn't conceal anything, and told Mary right away. Yeah, she hid the safe secret deliberately. Mary didn't know why.